Hello and welcome back to Hannah's Inner Healing channel, the channel dedicated to your inner healing and mental health. My name is Hannah Njeri. I have a background I have a degree in sociology and politics. I have a master's in theology and a certificate in trauma counseling. So today we are going to discuss a very important topic on the chosen ones and narcissistic abuse. The chosen ones and the narcissistic abuse that they go through. And so before I start this topic, I just want to highlight that I've done so many topics on narcissism and who a narcissist is and the different types of narcissists out there. But I'm going to do a small recap or a short recap of who a narcissist is. A narcissist is an individual who feels okay to exploit others, who feels okay to entitled to use others, entitled to abuse other people, and also such an individual has no empathy whatsoever. Such an individual, also when you meet the narcissist, you feel you're in a state of, as you continue to relate with them, of shock, confusion, and you begin to develop a low self-esteem because of the abuse. The initial stages when you meet the narcissist, there's a lot of love bombing, whereby they give you compliments, they give you gifts, or they try to show you their best side. Then as you proceed with the relationship, the discard comes in, whereby you start to be devalued. The devaluement comes in devaluement, where you're starting to be devalued, looked down upon, and talked down upon. And then finally, they want to discard you and look for a new supply. So when that happens, you are left feeling disoriented, lost, hurt, gaslighted, lied to, belittled, and even controlled. When you're in the process of relating with a narcissist, you feel controlled. And even when you separate with a narcissist, you still feel these feelings. And why does it happen? Because once you start relating with a narcissist or becoming friends or being in any relationship with a narcissist, there's a way you exchange their energy. Their energy, in fact, is spiritual and also mental, whereby their energy is transferred to you. And so because their energy is transferred to you, because they are individuals who don't have a self, they have a very low self-esteem, they are insecure people, and they cannot live without the supply from other people. So now because you've exchanged those energy, through soul tie, a soul tie, what happens is you take on their energy. So even when you disconnect from the narcissist, you still feel that you need the narcissist, or you feel inadequate as a person. So I'm going to discuss later on in the next video how you can heal and disconnect yourself from this energy. You see, most chosen people, when they're brought into this world, they will have to go through narcissistic abuse or the Jezebel attack, because Jezebel attacks most people who are prophets and people who carry the glory of God. And chosen ones, most of them have a prophetic nature, and they also carry God's glory. So what happens is the devil now plans to attack them using different individuals that carry this spirit. The narcissist, behind the narcissism is the Jezebel spirit. So then you can see how this spirit also attacked Joseph in his life using Fat Potiphar's wife and even his brothers. So what happens first when a chosen one is born? They might be born even in a family that is narcissistic, and along the way they will also meet narcissistic people. So why does God do this? Because as much as you are going to share in the glory of Christ, you also have to share with the sufferings of Christ. When Christ was in this earth, he went through a lot. And he did that because he needed to understand us. You see, that's why the Bible says that he was a priest familiar with suffering. He had to identify with what we go through. So as a chosen one, because you're called to help many, to serve many people, you will also have to go through trials and tests so that you can be able to have empathy for other people and be able to help other people. You deliver other people through what you yourself have been delivered from by God. So that's why every chosen one has to go through the narcissistic or Jezebel attack. But with time, God heals you as a chosen one. And with time, you begin to now develop your own self, your own identity as a person. And then God uses you to exploit and equip other people. You see, there are different types of narcissists. We talked about the covert narcissist, the malignant narcissist, the sadistic narcissist, we have the observant narcissist. But the ones that are really common right now talked about are the malignant narcissist or the covert narcissist. I want to give an experience that I went through with a covert narcissist who happened to be a neighbor. And I'm not using this to malign anybody or to use it to malign that woman. No, I'm using this to teach, because every experience that we go through in life, we learn to teach. So I had this neighbor who, the first time I met her, you remember the love bombing? She was, she moved in, and as we are talking, she started having this, like, motherly care for me. And someone elder just showing you affection. They're like, oh, I'm going to the supermarket. Would you need anything? Or I see, can see, I had a small garden at that time, just like I have now, but that was smaller. And she'd say, okay, I know of pesticides. I can help you even with your garden and everything. So it started out as a friendship. And sometimes she would even, bake or cook things, and she wants to bring them over to you. But now and then she started telling me stories, stories of how people had done her wrong, how people have rejected her, the places she has gone to, and I just her life story, how her daughter had left home, though she was an adult, though, and and all those kinds of stories. And so it just started well, but later on I realized the control started coming in, whereby she wants to come and tell you things as if you're a small child, forgetting that I'm an adult living by myself. I was past 38 years, and she was, she started telling you things as a small child, like, things to do with your clothes, things to do with you, the people who come to, help me with the house. And it went on like that, and I started feeling uncomfortable. So what I did, because the fence was short, like a picket fence, I put a barrier between us so that there would not be any, just to minimize the control the control that she was trying to assert over my life. And when a narcissist hates it when you tell them no. So at that time, I hadn't figured out she was a narcissist, but I felt like there was something off about her. So when I said no to something that she wanted, I remember, because narcissists, what they do, when you say no to something, they start retaliating back. They will want to punish you. So I remember, because we shared a wall, and that wall was a very thin wall. And so she started that night she's made noise, banging doors and laughing hysterically. You would not even believe a person in their late 50s behaving like a child like that, because sometimes narcissists behave like children most of the time. And so she, the next day I had to report to the landlord, and she was talked to. And then as it continued like that, because now you've ignored her, the narcissist is not getting supply that she wants from you, because she would say, oh, you remind me of my, you're helping me heal the daughter wound, she wants you to play the role of a daughter. Because one thing about narcissists is, when they see you, once they start relating with you, they have already assigned to you a role that you are not aware of. So she had already assigned to me a role to try and replace her daughter. And so, so when the noises at night ended now, and I used to work from home, because most of the time I work from the house. She started singing loudly at one point, and I felt like, this is too much. Let me just go and talk to her, adult to adult. So when I went to talk to her, I told her, you're much older than me. I'm really trying to respect you here, because I always try to respect her. And so, she said, oh, I don't care, I'm paying rent, just to try and rattle you. And narcissists like drama. So you not even imagine someone mature at that age behaving like that. So I decided, let me just, talk to the landlord. So at that time, that's what I'm telling you, when you're Joseph, you go through so many situations. When you're chosen, when you're like a Joseph in this generation. So the landlord there was a womanizer, one of the men, and he was trying to come, at me in an evil way. And I told him, I'm not the type. I don't date married men. And if you're a single lady watching this, never date a married man. You're only incurring curses upon yourself. Respect yourself to wait on God. Don't go giving your body to every man. Don't go sleeping with married men. So I told him no. So because he felt his ego had been bruised because I said no to him, he took her side. And I felt so bad that day. But the good thing is, when I raised the alarm, and we talked, in front of the landlord, and she was trying to belittle me, or you're younger than me, and then I just told her the reason why I put the barrier is because I wanted her to keep to her space. And it actually worked, even though he took her side, because she stopped making all those noises, all the crazy making, things that she was doing, and she stopped. But I felt, in my spirit, God just telling me, move. Now respect came, she would no longer make the noise. And actually, she would hear me outside in my, garden, and she'd go back to her house inside immediately. Because she realized this is not a game anymore. And you see, such people do that so that if they feel you're not giving them attention, they want you to give them attention by force. So I realized all those were tactics to just, punish you because you have refused to associate with her. So then, before I reported her, she would even come singing loudly when she sees you at the backyard, just to make you feel, just to punish you. And you can't even believe a woman in her late 50s behaving like that, because narcissists are childish. So anyway, I moved out from that place, and God just gave me a very beautiful place that I'm in today. Why am I using this example? I'm not using this example to belittle someone or to talk bad about someone, but just to show you that, how covert narcissists behave. Because even when we went to report this matter to the landlord, she turned things around, and it's like she was using word salads, or ways of trying to make herself look like the victim, because they always have to find a way to make themselves look like victims. They are the ones who want to abuse you, to attack you, but they also want to appear like the victim. That's a covert narcissist for you. So I learned, it's good when you're dealing with such people, narcissists, you have to be very precise. You have to know what you want, and don't enter into arguments with them. Don't enter into situations where they'll just bring drama upon your life. Just know this is it. And if you feel that this person is dramatic, you can also cut them off, so that you are also able to, avoid their negative energy, avoid being dragged into drama, unnecessary drama that you don't need, and avoid, being, just, them having mental games, because those were mind games that she was trying to play with me. So I'm learning a lot. And at that time also, listen to people around you. I remember my gardener, there's a times before I put now up the barrier, she would come and stare at my gardener working as if she's in the field. And my gardener asked me, is this woman next door neighbor really normal? Like, is she okay mentally? You see, also I should have listened to the gardener, because he kept telling me, cut off from this woman, just cut off. And it really helped. I only stayed in that neighborhood for 3 months, and I was done. And I knew, for me, it was a lesson that God wanted me to learn and to move on, and not to just stick there. So the key is know who you are as a person, know how to be firm when you're relating with narcissists, and know, the boundaries. Let your boundaries be very clear. Let your boundaries be very clear when you're relating with such people, so that they know this is how far they can come. So and I know many chosen ones also go through worse things with maybe narcissistic parents, or with the malignant narcissists who even can beat you up physically, and they gaslight you to doubt your own reality. And by the end of relating with a narcissist, you feel lost, confused, hurt, disregarded, because they treat you as an object, and they have no empathy at all. So as a chosen one, just know you will have to go through this. It could even be people, spiritual narcissists. I've talked about religious narcissists, who, not spiritual but religious narcissists, who want to hide behind religion to oppress, exploit, and misuse others. And there are many of those in the pulpit. So you need to know what narcissism is, and please go check my videos, and I've done one signs to know you're relating with a narcissist. So as a chosen one, when you go through all these things, don't allow yourself to carry bitterness. Don't allow yourself to lose yourself in it. And in my next video, I want to talk about how, as a chosen one, you will be able to detach yourself from the image, or from the the mental fog that you have had to go through with a narcissist. Because what happens when you're relating with a narcissist, they project to you their image, and so because they project to you like you are nothing, like you beneath them, you are useless. So how do you heal from all that abuse? How do you heal from that? For me, I was really hurt when that happened, because I knew I'd been denied justice, by someone also wanted to exploit me in the name of a landlord. And then also I felt like you were relating with in shock, like an elderly woman can behave in such a way like as a child. So I was also in shock, in those experiences. But they helped me learn a lot, and it took me some time before I healed. But I would pray, and I thank God I moved to a good place. So I healed, and I'm now here to teach. So you will also overcome whatever you go through, and that's some things that Joseph went through because he refused Potiphar's wife. I believe Potiphar's wife was a Jezebel or a narcissist, because narcissists actually like to exploit. She wanted to exploit him. She lied on him, and she also wanted to then, and narcissists also are very promiscuous and sexually immoral. She wanted to have a relationship with him, though she was married. So that was the attack that Joseph got, apart from the brothers and sister, now Potiphar's wife, and that's what landed him in prison. And I'm sure when Joseph was in prison, he was feeling he had been denied justice. He was feeling like he did the right thing, but he still ended up in prison. Never feel like that as a chosen one, because even just stand for the right thing. Even when you're in the midst of fire or a wall in the fire, just stand. Don't compromise. For me, I was not going to compromise my values with this landlord, and there's no way I was going to allow the narcissist woman to come and abuse me. So stand your ground. And even though you look like you've lost, because I had to move, but God fights for you and you will win. And let me tell you, the justice of God, the wheels might roll slowly, but when it happens, the wheels of God, they might look like they're rolling slowly, but they come and grind finely. So I hear someone was telling me from who lives in that place, that the neighbor who came next door to that lady really was a thorn in the flesh to her. She was complaining she can't sleep, she can't concentrate, and everything. Same thing she tried to do to me. Now they were done to her at a greater scale. That's why be careful when you go to do people dirty, to go and do people wrong, because it comes back double. Don't go causing mischief. Don't go mistreating people, abusing people, because God is just. He has no partiality. Don't say you're a believer or you're this religious person so you can go and treat other people that you think are lesser than you spiritually wrongly, because God is just. And those things you will reap. So a man reaps, you shall sow. You will sow it. And so she got what she deserved. So in my next video, I want to talk about how to detach yourself from the narcissist or from narcissistic abuse, how to mentally detach yourself spiritually and emotionally from the abuse that you go through with a narcissist. Thank you for watching. Till next time.